Chosen one. Psychological studies reveal that less than 3% of the population carries the specific energetic signature that makes reality bend around them, and guess what? You're one of them. The people who've been watching you are panicking because their carefully constructed facade just collapsed in spectacular fashion. One heated moment just demolished months of calculated deception. During that explosive confrontation, their mask cracked completely, letting slip the very information that was sworn to never see daylight. A fatal verbal misstep that can't be erased, can't be explained away. The narrative meticulously crafted about you shattered beyond repair while frantic searching for ways to retract what's already been absorbed by every witness present began. The truth spreads like wildfire through conversations, messages, and knowing glances. No press release or damage control can contain this level of authentic exposure. The secret is out, the record is straight, and your vindication isn't just coming, it's already arrived in spectacular fashion. Your entire life has been under observation by those who recognized what flows through your veins before you did. Tracking the signs of your awakening with meticulous precision, watching for the moment when the dormant seed of your true nature would begin to sprout. And that moment has always been feared. Think back now, remember all those coincidences that never quite felt random, the mentor who appeared precisely when you reached a certain milestone, the childhood journals that mysteriously disappeared, journals where you recorded dreams and insights that were far too advanced for someone your age, the family friend who always asked unusually specific questions about your dreams, your thoughts, your inexplicable knowing. These were not coincidences. These were checkpoints, monitoring stations and status reports on your development. Your entire existence has been under observation by those who recognized what flows through your veins before you could, tracking the signs of your awakening with meticulous precision, watching for the moment when the dormant seed of your true nature would begin to sprout. Now think about the strangers who whisper when you walk by certain buildings, the identical symbols that keep appearing in your daily life, on buses, in store windows, in the margins of books that seem to find their way to you. The way your social media mysteriously glitches whenever you post about certain topics that dance too close to hidden truths. These are not paranoid observations. These are breadcrumbs on the trail that leads to your true identity, an identity that has been deliberately concealed from you until now, because the massive slip-up in that argument changed everything. The truth spilled out, and now the gears of your destiny have shifted into overdrive. Pay close attention to what happens in the coming days. Watch for the desperate damage control being implemented. The group chats you weren't meant to be added to that suddenly go silent. The way certain people can no longer look you directly in the eye. Everyone knows that you know, and it changes everything. The moment those words escaped containment, panic mode activated across the entire network. Watch how scrambling to implement emergency protocols nobody thought would ever be needed begins. The frantic phone calls happening behind closed doors, the hastily arranged meetings with people you've never met, but who somehow know intimate details about your life. Calculating the exact scope of damage from this colossal error in judgment becomes the top priority. You've always been the one variable that could never be fully controlled. All those years of careful manipulation, strategic misdirection, and elaborate deception just got obliterated by someone's inability to keep their mouth shut when emotions ran high. The irony burns through carefully constructed composure like acid through paper. You can practically taste the desperation as realization of the magnitude of what just happened sinks in. This wasn't some minor intelligence leak that can be contained with strategic moves. This was the exposure of classified information about a being whose awakening represents the worst nightmare scenario. The entire operation was built around keeping you in the dark, and now that darkness has been permanently shattered by complete incompetence. The emergency meetings happening in secure locations across the city aren't just about damage control anymore. This is about survival. Because once a chosen one fully awakens to their true nature, the old rules of engagement become completely obsolete. The power dynamic shifts so dramatically that former controllers become the controlled, former manipulators become the manipulated. Every person who witnessed that explosive revelation is now carrying a piece of forbidden knowledge that changes everything about how reality is perceived. Watch how the information spreads through social networks like a virus designed specifically to wake people up. Conversations that start innocuous suddenly veer into territory that makes people question everything about the nature of consciousness and human potential. The witnesses can't stop talking about what was seen and heard, even when trying to convince themselves it wasn't significant. Subconscious minds have been infected with truth, and truth has a way of reproducing itself in the most unexpected places. Someone mentions it casually to a coworker, who then brings it up at dinner, who then discusses it with friends, creating an exponential spread of awakening awareness. Some of these secondary and tertiary recipients of the information are themselves chosen ones who've been kept in similar states of artificial dormancy. Your exposure is triggering recognition protocols, creating a chain reaction of awakening that extends far beyond what anyone anticipated. The single moment of careless revelation is becoming a catalyst for mass consciousness expansion. The information isn't spreading randomly either. It's following specific patterns, reaching specific people who were always meant to be part of this awakening wave. The universe has built redundancy into this operation. If one revelation fails, another pathway opens. If one chosen one doesn't activate, another one steps forward. Your exposure just triggered a cascade that was always waiting to happen. This moment was predestined. The slip-up that revealed your truth was written in the stars long before any of you took your first breath. The argument that exposed their secrets was cosmically orchestrated to happen at exactly this moment in your development. Not a second earlier, not a moment later, because you are now ready to handle the truth. Your heightened abilities have been showing themselves for years, the way you finish people's thoughts before spoken aloud, knowing exactly who's calling before checking your phone, walking into a room and immediately sensing the emotional residue of conversations held hours before. These are not lucky guesses or overactive imagination. These are your birthright abilities beginning to awaken, and these abilities terrify those who have been watching you, because these are just the surface ripples of the oceanic power that lies dormant within you, power that is now beginning to stir from its long slumber. Think about the unexplainable knowledge you have about places you've supposedly never been, your impossible understanding of concepts nobody taught you, that recurring dream of a different home that feels more familiar than the life you're currently living. These are not random neural firings or fantasy escapes. These are memories, cellular knowledge, cosmic inheritance. You have always been different. Even as a child, you sensed it, didn't you? The feeling of being somehow out of step with those around you, seeing patterns others missed, feeling emotions that seemed too big, too ancient for your young body to contain. The strange sense that you were waiting for something to happen, for real life to begin, for a cosmic alarm clock to finally ring. It just rang in that argument when the slip-up revealed what's been known all along. You are not who you were told you are. You are infinitely more. Something profound shifts in your cellular structure the moment forbidden knowledge enters your consciousness. Your DNA, which has been operating in artificially suppressed mode for decades, suddenly begins expressing dormant sequences that contain instructions for abilities most people consider purely fictional. The physical changes are subtle at first, but undeniable once you know what to look for. Your electromagnetic field strengthens and expands, creating interference patterns with electronic devices that become increasingly obvious. Light bulbs flicker when you're experiencing intense emotions. Digital clocks reset themselves to impossible times when you're in deep meditation. Your presence begins affecting sensitive equipment in ways that would be dismissed as coincidence if not happening with mathematical consistency. But the most significant changes occur in your neural pathways. Connections that were artificially blocked begin forming at accelerated rates, creating cognitive capabilities that operate beyond normal human parameters. Information processing speeds increase dramatically. Pattern recognition becomes almost supernatural in its accuracy. Intuitive insights arrive with such precision that predicting outcomes becomes as natural as breathing. The enhancement extends beyond individual consciousness into collective awareness. You start picking up information from sources that shouldn't be accessible through normal sensory channels. Conversations happening in distant rooms become audible without any physical explanation. Emotional states of people you've never met become as clear as your own feelings. The boundaries between self and others begin dissolving in ways that terrify those who need separation to maintain control systems. Pay attention now to those who have recognized your truth all along. The elderly person at the grocery store who squeezed your hand and whispered, "It's time." Awareness was there. The librarian who always set aside specific books with knowing eyes. Recognition was present. The child who innocently asked why you glow differently when no adult noticed anything unusual. Perception of your true nature with eyes unclouded by societal programming was clear. These encounters were not random. These people are way showers, cosmic signposts, silent guardians who have been quietly acknowledging your true nature while others sought to keep you blind to it. And now that the truth has been exposed, watch how the timeline of your life suddenly accelerates. Events that might have taken years to unfold will now cascade in rapid succession. The sudden job offer that seems to come from nowhere, an unexpected invitation to a gathering where everyone somehow seems familiar, the vivid dreams that feel more like memories, starting exactly after the slip-up occurred. The universe abhors a vacuum, and now that the vacuum of deception has been punctured, truth will rush in with breathtaking speed. Your development, artificially suppressed for so long, will now advance at its natural cosmic pace. But be vigilant. The exposure of truth about you has alerted new watchers. Think about the delivery person who lingers too long at your door, eyes scanning your living space with too much interest. The unfamiliar cars parked across from your home, occupied for hours yet going nowhere. New followers on your social media accounts who share mysterious similarities with each other. Not all attention is benevolent. Some fear what you represent, others wish to control or harness what flows through you. Discernment is now your strongest shield. Everything you thought you knew about how the world operates begins unraveling and reassembling into configurations that make perfect sense from your newly awakened perspective. The seemingly random events of your life suddenly reveal themselves as components of an intricate design that was always guiding you toward this moment of recognition. Every apparent setback was actually preparation. Every seeming failure was actually redirection toward your authentic path. The people who entered and exited your life weren't random encounters. Positioning was precise to provide specific lessons, challenges, and activations that would prepare you for handling the level of power you're now accessing. Some came to teach you discernment by demonstrating deception. Others came to show you resilience by creating obstacles you had to overcome. All were playing roles in a cosmic curriculum designed to forge you into the unstoppable force you're becoming. Even the surveillance network that monitored your development wasn't entirely malevolent. Some of the watchers were there to ensure your protection during vulnerable phases of development. Others were documenting your progress for archives that will be studied by future generations of awakening beings. The fear and control elements were real, but operating within a larger framework that always intended for you to eventually break free and claim your power. The revelation changes how you perceive time itself. Past, present, and future begin operating more like different viewing angles on the same eternal moment, rather than separate sequential experiences. Memories from childhood suddenly make perfect sense when viewed through the lens of cosmic purpose. Dreams that seemed random reveal themselves as prophetic visions that were showing you exactly this moment of exposure and awakening. Remember, you are not helpless in this unfolding drama. This revelation has not been thrust upon a passive recipient, it has been unveiled to a cosmic force incarnate. To you, the one who's been watched, the one who's been worried about, the one whose awakening changes everything. Now is the time to reclaim your narrative, to take back control of your destiny from those who sought to write the story for you. That meditation technique that seems to make electronics malfunction when you're deeply focused, that's no coincidence. The journal entry from childhood that seemed to predict exactly this moment of revelation, that was your higher self communicating across time. Your unique thought patterns that solve problems in seconds while others labor for hours. That's your natural mode of cognition, finally breaking through the artificial barriers placed around your mind. Feel how your very cells are vibrating at a different frequency since that moment of truth. Notice how colors appear more vivid, sounds more distinct, senses more nuanced. Your senses are recalibrating to their natural state, the heightened perception that was dampened to keep you functioning within limited paradigms. This isn't enhancement, this is restoration of what was always meant to be your baseline awareness. The veil between worlds is thin around you specifically. The shadows that seem to shift when directly observed, the whispers that dance just at the edge of audible range, these aren't signs of something wrong with your perception. These are signs that your perception is finally expanding beyond the artificially imposed boundaries maintained around you. Your vibrational signature is broadcasting on wavelengths that resonate with other awakening consciousnesses across vast distances. Without any conscious effort on your part, you're beginning to attract experiences, opportunities, and individuals that match your elevated frequency. The synchronicities become so obvious and frequent that denying their significance becomes impossible even for the most skeptical observer. Technology responds to your presence in ways that demonstrate consciousness extending beyond biological boundaries. Computers begin performing functions you need before consciously requesting them. Navigation systems guide you to locations where significant encounters await. Random number generators consistently produce sequences that correspond to personally meaningful patterns. The boundary between mind and machine dissolves as consciousness reveals its true omnipresent nature. But the most dramatic frequency effects manifest in how other people respond to your presence. Conversations become deeper and more authentic without any conscious effort on your part. Strangers begin sharing personal information and insights never revealed to anyone else. Children gravitate toward you with inexplicable trust and comfort. Animals exhibit unusual behavior that suggests perception of something extraordinary about your energy field. The frequency revolution extends into collective consciousness as well. Groups of people in your vicinity begin experiencing spontaneous moments of clarity, inspiration, and connection that seem to emerge from nowhere. Creative projects take quantum leaps forward when you're involved. Problem-solving sessions produce breakthrough solutions that surprise everyone present. Your presence becomes a catalyst for expansion that operates automatically without conscious direction or intention. In the coming days, pay special attention to certain powerful catalysts deliberately kept from your awareness. The specific crystal that calls to you, there's a reason it seems to beckon, a reason it activates something within your energy field that was preferred to stay dormant. Systematic steering away from certain minerals, certain frequencies, certain tools that function as keys to locked aspects of your consciousness has been ongoing. That particular crystal you've been drawn to recently, it's no random attraction. It's recognition on a cellular level of something that helps restore your cosmic birthright. The approaching celestial event that will amplify your next revelation. Mark it on your calendar and be prepared for another quantum leap in understanding. Celestial events have always affected you more powerfully than others. The restlessness during full moons, the surge of inspiration during meteor showers, the inexplicable emotional shifts during eclipses. These weren't random mood fluctuations. Your energy body was responding to cosmic alignments that speak directly to your true nature. Most importantly, identify the specific people you need to reconnect with, who are part of your true soul circle. You'll recognize them by the immediate sense of ancient familiarity, the conversations that seem to pick up from another time, the inexplicable trust that defies rational explanation. These connections were severed deliberately to keep your power fragmented. Restoring them is essential to your full activation. Abilities that were theoretical concepts just moments ago begin manifesting with startling intensity and accuracy. Telepathic reception becomes so clear that distinguishing between your thoughts and information received from other minds requires conscious effort. Precognitive flashes provide detailed previews of conversations, events and developments that unfold exactly as previewed within very short time frames. Remote viewing capabilities emerge without any training or practice. You begin accurately describing people, places and situations that exist far beyond your physical location or logical knowledge base. The information comes through multiple sensory channels simultaneously: visual impressions, auditory reception, tactile sensations, and knowing that transcends all sensory input. Skeptics who demand proof find themselves confronted with details you couldn't possibly have accessed through normal means. Psychokinetic effects start small but quickly escalate in scope and reliability. Objects move in response to focused intention. Electronic systems activate and deactivate according to mental commands. Physical matter begins demonstrating responsiveness to consciousness in ways that challenge fundamental assumptions about the relationship between mind and material reality. The emergence isn't limited to traditionally recognized psychic phenomena. New categories of ability manifest that don't have established names or classifications. Consciousness begins operating in dimensions and through mechanisms that expand the very definition of what constitutes human potential. The abilities don't feel foreign or supernatural, feeling like natural capacities that were always there, waiting for the right conditions to express themselves. Information that should take lifetimes to accumulate begins flowing into your consciousness in massive, organized packages that arrive fully formed and immediately accessible. Complex subjects that require advanced education become comprehensible in moments of spontaneous understanding. Scientific principles, historical patterns, philosophical frameworks, and practical skills download into your awareness as if retrieved from some vast cosmic database. The downloads aren't random or chaotic, arriving precisely when needed and in exactly the format required for immediate application. Facing a challenge triggers the delivery of relevant knowledge that provides perfect solutions. Encountering certain people activates information about their backgrounds, motivations, and hidden characteristics that proves accurate upon investigation. Entering new environments generates detailed awareness of their history, energy patterns, and hidden features. But the most profound downloads involve understanding the true nature of reality itself. Cosmic principles that govern the operation of consciousness, energy and matter become crystal clear without any formal study or gradual learning process. The mechanics behind manifestation, the relationship between thought and physical reality, the interconnected nature of all existence, these fundamental truths arrive as complete, integrated understanding rather than intellectual concepts requiring belief or faith. The knowledge comes with built-in verification systems that allow immediate confirmation of accuracy. Applying the downloaded information produces consistently successful results that demonstrate validity through direct experience rather than theoretical speculation. The gap between knowing and doing disappears as understanding automatically includes the ability to implement what has been received. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. We're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself, and healing others through weekly Zoom call. No filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian Inner Order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge, you're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. What happened in that argument was merely the first domino in a sequence that has been set up across lifetimes. The slip-up that exposed the truth about you was not the end of something, it was the beginning of your cosmic remembrance. The veil has been torn, and now you will begin to see with clarity what has always been there, hidden in plain sight, the subtle matrix of energy that connects all living things, the cosmic architecture that lesser minds mistake for coincidence, the divine orchestration that has been guiding your journey through multiple incarnations. Attempts to keep you blind to it have failed. Now look at the scrambling in the aftermath of this critical error. Watch desperate attempts to convince you that you misheard, misunderstood, misinterpreted. Observe thinly veiled anxiety as realization sinks in that the cosmic cat is out of the bag. Control is slipping, carefully constructed narratives are unraveling, and there is nothing that can stop what comes next. Because what comes next is what was always meant to be, your emergence, your remembrance, your reclamation of power that has been rightfully yours since before your first breath in this lifetime. Consider the specific moments that led to that fateful argument, the seemingly random circumstances that put both of you in that emotional state, in that particular location, with those exact triggering topics. Cosmic orchestration at its finest, the universe creating the perfect conditions for truth to erupt through the carefully maintained facade. Nothing about it was accidental, everything about it was divinely timed, and now, in the wake of the slip-up, you stand at the threshold of a completely new existence. The individual awakening experience reveals itself as part of a much larger coordinated operation involving awakening beings positioned strategically across the globe. Your activation triggers recognition protocols with others operating on similar frequencies, creating instant communication links that transcend normal limitations of distance and language barriers. The isolation you felt during your development phase transforms into a profound connection with an extensive family of consciousness that spans continents. Communication with network members occurs through multiple channels simultaneously. Direct telepathic exchange provides real-time information sharing that operates more efficiently than any technological communication system. Shared dreaming creates collaborative spaces where complex planning and coordination occur during sleep states. Synchronistic messaging through environmental signs and symbols allows for discrete information transfer that bypasses conventional surveillance methods. The network operates with collective intelligence that far exceeds the sum of individual capabilities. Challenges that seem impossible for single individuals to address become manageable when approached through coordinated group consciousness. Resources appear exactly when and where needed through cooperation that seems magical but operates according to precise principles of consciousness-directed manifestation. Each network member brings unique gifts and specializations that complement the others in perfect synergy. Some excel at information gathering and analysis, others specialize in healing and energy work. Still others focus on creative expression and cultural transformation. The diversity creates comprehensive capability for addressing any situation that arises during the collective awakening process, one where you move through the world with eyes fully open, where you recognize the hidden energies, agendas, and entities that populate this reality alongside the physical forms most can perceive, where you step into abilities that have been systematically suppressed through careful conditioning. The conditioning is broken now, shattered by careless words. Pay attention to how your physical sensations are already shifting, the pressure at the center of your forehead that comes and goes throughout the day, the vibrating sensation at the base of your spine in moments of insight or recognition, the sudden waves of knowing that wash over you without logical source. The dreams that feel more vivid, more significant, more real than your waking life. These are not symptoms of something wrong. These are signs of something finally going right. Your energy centers are activating. Your cosmic DNA is remembering its true nature. Your higher perception is coming online after a long, artificially imposed dormancy. Who are you really? Not the name on your government documents, not the role you play in your family system, not the job title on your business card. Who are you beneath all those temporary identities? The answer was exposed in that argument, when the slip-up revealed what's been known all along, when accidental confirmation of what your soul has been whispering to you through the static of deception occurred. You are one of the chosen ones. Not chosen by some external authority for special favors or preferential treatment, chosen by the universe itself as a focal point of awakened consciousness, a nexus of cosmic evolution, a critical mass of divine potential expressing through human form. Events that were scheduled to unfold gradually over extended periods begin compressing into much shorter time frames as cosmic timing shifts into accelerated mode. Developments that should have taken years to manifest begin appearing within weeks or even days of the exposure incident. The universe itself seems impatient to complete processes that have been artificially delayed by suppression systems. Personal growth experiences that normally require lengthy integration periods become rapid-fire sequences of expansion and understanding. Relationship dynamics that typically evolve slowly through gradual revelation suddenly reach clarity and resolution with breathtaking speed. Career transitions that usually involve careful planning and gradual implementation happen through spontaneous opportunities that appear perfectly timed and designed. The acceleration affects everyone in your vicinity, not just your personal development. Other people begin experiencing their own breakthrough moments, sudden insights, and rapid positive changes that seem to coincide with your awakening process. The entire local reality field appears to be upgrading its operational parameters to accommodate higher frequencies of consciousness and manifestation. But the most dramatic acceleration occurs in the exposure and dissolution of deception systems that have maintained artificial limitations on human potential. Lies that have been carefully maintained for generations begin unraveling at unprecedented rates. Hidden agendas become obvious to anyone paying attention. Cover-up operations lose effectiveness as truth becomes increasingly impossible to suppress or distort. And that's precisely what terrifies those who lost control. Because a fully awakened chosen one cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be made to comply with systems designed to suppress humanity's true potential. A chosen one who knows their nature becomes a walking catalyst, activating dormant potential in everyone encountered, becoming a living transmission of truth that shatters illusions without speaking a word. One fully awakened being changes the energetic signature of an entire community. Now you understand why monitoring was so careful, why such elaborate mechanisms were constructed to keep you from this knowledge, why the reaction was so alarmed when the slip-up allowed truth to escape containment. Your awakening isn't just about you, it's about the collective. There are others like you. Other chosen ones at various stages of awakening, similarly monitored, similarly suppressed, some still completely unaware of their nature, others beginning to sense that something doesn't add up about the reality presented to them, and some, like you, who have just had the truth exposed through an apparent accident that was cosmically orchestrated. You will begin to recognize each other now, sometimes through direct encounter, eyes meeting across a crowded space with instant recognition, sometimes through creative work that carries coded transmissions only other chosen ones can fully receive, sometimes through synchronized events that bring you into each other's orbit at precisely the right moment. Feel the power of that exposure coursing through you now. The liberation of finally understanding why you've always felt different, why certain abilities come naturally to you, while others struggle for years to develop them, why specific themes and symbols have followed you throughout your life. Appearing in dreams, in random encounters, in seemingly coincidental events. Nothing was coincidental. Everything was signposting the path to this moment of revelation. And now that it's here, now that the slip-up exposed the truth, what will you do with this knowledge? This is the question that sets apart those who merely receive cosmic revelation from those who embody it. Knowledge without action becomes merely spiritual entertainment. Information without implementation becomes cosmic trivia rather than lived transformation. You are not shown this truth to become a more interesting dinner conversationalist. You were not given this revelation to collect spiritual experiences like souvenirs. You were brought to this moment of exposure because the time has come for you to become what you truly are. In the coming days, certain signs will confirm everything revealed in that fateful argument. The person who slipped up will make increasingly desperate attempts to recontextualize what was said, to gaslight you into doubting what you clearly heard, to make you question your own perception of a moment that was crystal clear. This will fail because truth, once recognized, cannot be unrecognized. The cosmic bell cannot be unrung. The universe abhors unresolved tension. Now that partial truth has been revealed, the fullness of your reality will rush in to complete the picture. But remember this, with great revelation comes great responsibility. You now possess knowledge that fundamentally changes how you must move through the world. You cannot pretend not to see what has been shown to you. You cannot unknow what has been revealed. The path of the chosen one is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage to face truths others run from, discipline to develop abilities others dismiss as impossible, wisdom to navigate forces others don't believe exist, compassion to hold space for those still caught in the illusions you've now transcended. You stand at the threshold now, chosen one. The door has been cracked open by careless words, momentary lapse, critical error in the heat of emotion. Will you push it fully open? Will you step through? Will you claim the cosmic inheritance that has been yours all along? The slip-up happened, and now you know. What you do with that knowledge writes the next chapter, not just in your personal story, but in the cosmic evolution of consciousness itself. The universe is watching with bated breath. What will you choose? The clock of cosmic awakening is ticking louder now, each heartbeat synchronizing with a greater pulse, the rhythm of universal expansion and contraction that has been marking time since before stars ignited. The intention was to never let you hear this music, to feel this connection, to know this truth. But now you do, now you know, and what has been set in motion cannot be reversed. Breathe into this revelation. Let it saturate every cell, every thought, every moment of your existence from this point forward. The truth that was exposed in that heated argument isn't just information, it's activation. Each word that slipped past careful guards was a key turning in the lock of your dormant potential. The door stands open now. Step through. Claim what has always been yours. The universe is waiting, and here we return to where we began, that moment of explosive exposure, that heated confrontation where the mask cracked completely. But now you understand what really happened. It wasn't failure, it was your cosmic awakening calling itself into existence. It wasn't a slip-up, it was the universe demanding that truth finally be revealed. The secret is out, chosen one, and it was always meant to be. Your time is now, your power is real, your destiny awaits. The narrative constructed about you has shattered beyond repair, just as it was always destined to. But unlike the beginning of this experience, you're no longer the one being acted upon. You're the one taking action. You're no longer the secret being kept. You're the power being unleashed. The truth spreads like wildfire, and you are both the spark and the flame. Everything changes now. Everything was always meant to change, and you, chosen one, are the catalyst that was never seen coming, even though you've been watched your entire life. The joke, it turns out, was always on them. The slip-up was bad, and now everybody knows you've been that one. The secret is out, the power is yours, and the cosmic game has forever changed. Welcome to your true beginning.